We are at the tail end of the growing season here, and so we're going to use up some of these tomatoes. Some of them split from a rainstorm that happened a few days ago, and other ones, they're just from older tomato plants and they have thicker skin. So this is a great way to use up a bunch of tomatoes that won't last very long. The idea for this pesto came from a pesto that I had years ago. It was from Williams and Sonoma. I received it as a gift and I was never able to find it anywhere again. I saved the label from that pesto because it was so good. It was a sun-dried tomato and cashew pesto. Now, this is not the same exact thing because I don't have those ingredients, but I'm using that as inspiration. I put the tomatoes in an oven-safe baking dish and I added garlic and basil. If you don't have a lot of that, you can skip this step because we're going to be adding more at the end. I cooked this at 275 degrees for 3 hours. That way the sugars in the tomatoes could caramelize. Then I finished it off at a higher temperature for 15 minutes at 450 so it would release the juices. I let the tomato mixture cool down. I put the almonds in the food processor and then pulsed them until they were the consistency I wanted. I added in the tomatoes, leaving the liquid in the dish. Don't get rid of that liquid. It's really good. You could use it for salad dressing, cooking pasta. You could add it to other dishes as well. This pesto is different than the original one in a few different ways. I didn't have sun-dried tomatoes, so I did the roasted tomatoes. Well, I guess they weren't really roasted, but whatever that cooking technique is. I didn't have cashews, so I used almonds, and I didn't have Parmesan or Pecorino cheese, so I used nutritional yeast. I put all of those ingredients in the processor and kept tasting until it was the consistency that I wanted and the taste that I wanted. Now, this is way more pesto than I could use in the next few days, so I'm going to wind up freezing most of this pesto. I have some old glass jars that I'm going to use. I'm going to fill them each about 2/3 of the way. You don't want to fill a glass jar that you're freezing all the way to the top because it could cause it to break. So far, I've used this pesto in a bunch of different ways. I've used it making pasta, I used it on pizza, I used it on sandwiches, and we dipped vegetables in it. All of them were great. This recipe is freezeable, this recipe is doubleable and halfable, so it's really versatile, and I hope that you enjoy it.